goes. And there it goes. Got a couple of hens in there laying eggs this morning already. This is a feisty one. I always get pecked on this one. This one is maybe a little bit nicer. Nothing in there yet. She's got like 3 underneath her. We have been busy here the last while. As you can see, we've got a building started here. This is going to be a barn shop combination. We've cleared out just a lot of trees. We have a lot more to clear out. We have a slash pile that's going to be gone in the next month once we're allowed to burn that. Part of this is going to be concreted, but as wet as it is, or being the ground is not solid, we're going to put the building up, and when it dries out, we'll come in and concrete it later. As you can see, we have just a lot of trees that we took down. Always a big mess getting to where the project, getting it to where you want it. Taking down trees is always a mess. We're gonna take out like a whole bunch more trees, like back to the barn. This whole corner is gonna be like yard area parked out, and it's really, really thick. Been looking around since we bought the place, where would be a good place to build a tree house? We have some trees that are close to the property line, others are crooked. Like here we have a massive red fir, but it's leaning pretty bad. We have another one right there, I'm not sure. When I started clearing out yesterday, I noticed those 2 trees are they're in a good location. They're not too far apart. Plan is to build a tree house, kind of a little, maybe like an 8x8 or something, maybe smaller than that, up there with a roof on it. If the boys want to sleep, if they have friends over, they can sleep in there. The goal is to also build a swing set off of that then with a slide. There's a few things we want. We want a teeter-totter, a nice slide, not just a little 6-footer. Monkey bars, a glider, and the other thing that I really, really want to get, and that is a zip line. We would have to go up a ways and then out. I'm thinking if we could get like a 100-foot run, get a cable with a 100-foot run, and just gradually go into the ground, that would be so much fun for the boys. And I'm thinking as for a sandbox, we might just put railroad ties around it, and like the whole swing set will be the sandbox. I previously built one that the sandbox was like an 8x8 area. So the whole swing set, they can just have one huge sandbox. Again, you know, sometimes the guy has to start cutting down trees to figure out which ones you want to leave. You know, you cut a whole bunch of them down, you realize, you know, long term, with the sun coming in, enough sun for the grass to grow, you might have to take a few more out. Something I noticed, we have a lot of double trees, and I'll just take it that that's a double portion. Something that happened to me this week was I was coming home from a job up in Eureka, which is an hour and a half away from here. Put a long day in, finished up the project. We were on the way home, and for those of you who might live in the area might know what the road is like between Libya and Eureka. It follows the reservoir. So the road is cut into the mountains. Cliff on one side goes downhill into the reservoir on the next. Tooling along, and all of a sudden I thought I heard something, and I look in the rearview mirror, and there's a wheel that came off of one of the tires, or there's a wheel that came off the trailer. and it's going on the downhill side, and as it's coming following me, I'm like, am I going to lose it? Is it going to stop? And it was pretty steep downhill where we were going at the moment. And then I see it's coming into the trailer, so I hit the brakes expecting to feel the bump to stop the tire, because a tire going down the road at 60 miles an hour can be really dangerous. And I was waiting, like, why am I not hearing it? And I look in this side, nothing, look, and just like that, this wheel is picking up speed on my left, and it's going down. And it's picking up speed, it is flying, and I just prayed, stop that tire. And at this point, the tire was maybe 200 yards in front of us. And all of a sudden, the tire veers to the left, hits the cliff, goes flying way up in the air. And I see a car come. I was like, this car is going to hit it if the tire keeps rolling down and the guy in the car doesn't see it. So anyway, the tire veers into the ditch, hits the cliff, goes flying up, comes down, hits the road, and just starts spinning and stops right there. We did have kind of an ordeal to get home. By the time we got it patched up to the point where we could limp home slowly, you know, we got home pretty late. But yeah, very thankful. That could have been bad. If the tire would have went the other way, it would have probably ended up in the reservoir and we'd have never found it, because it was hundreds of feet almost straight down in that particular spot where we were driving at the moment. So yeah, just little things that the Lord is always working out for us. Oh, thought I was going to get the cat right there.
Every year our school has dress-up day, and they have to write an essay about their character. And today, Emmanuel, you are
George Washington.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I am George Washington. I was born on February 2020, 1732. I was born at Popsy Creek, Virginia. In my 20s, I fought as a soldier in the French and Indian War. After the war, I returned to Virginia to work as a farmer. I was married to Martha Dandridge Custer, a wealthy widow with 2 young children. My political party was called Federalists. I became president in April 30, 1789. I died president December 14, 1799 at Mount Virginia.
My name is John Madison. I was born on February 29th, 1996, on a farm in Carter, Montana. At the age of 7, I learned the importance of hard work by getting up at 5:45 a.m. every morning to feed the chickens. I would go out and get a bucket of load of feed, but I was only 7, so a bucket load of feed was about half a gallon. I would take a handful of feed and throw it at an old rooster that was always mean to me. Fortunately for me, he was almost always drowsy. At the age of 14, I was doing a lot more than feeding chickens. I was in a debate with my younger brother, Leroy, because he said I couldn't shoot a squirrel and kill it for some reason or whatever. Well, it didn't go as planned. Right when I was about to pull the trigger, he shoved the barrel towards my right foot. I ended up at the ER trying to get a 45 grain pellet out of my right foot. Now 21, with a scar on my right foot and not making good pay, I decided to choose a career in the military. After getting drafted, I was put through boot camp for about a year. After I was finally given the go-ahead to go to infantry number 893, now being around 22 and getting a salary of almost 50 grand, I could now finally pay the bills to the government I was working for. Way to go. I served in the United States for almost 7.5 years and have been in the following battle. The Russians started to attack my base. My leading officer contacted High Command, which contacted Russia. They said there were no troops in the area, so we started a bombing raid on that 5 square acres where they were. After 24 hours, there was nothing left. But on a lighter topic, I still remember going into the draft office and trying to explain the big scar on my right foot. But through it all, I have survived, and I can only wait for the day when I can return home and repay my brother for what he did on that day. Oh, and another thing. To this day, I still wake up to that rooster. Disclaimer, this story is not true. Any names related to other people are a coincidence.
No, I did not.
What's happening here? Every February, the youth and a bunch of the guys go camping, try to find some remote spot or try to find a lake just to get out and break the monotony. This year we ended up camping on Middle Thompson Lake. We camped in a very private, secluded spot, and we had access to 2 different lakes.
Pancake, Johnny. You want blueberries? That's blueberries. That'd be good.
They said bake it like a cake. Well,
I feel like that for you. Who's they?
Dad, you got Marcus's struggle.
You got a spatula, Marcus? Yeah, I got a spatula.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Oh, they? Dan.
Like mixing mortar. We need to drill the mixture.
Maybe I should.
Well, that one fried right up.
Oh, because Marcus told me to. Do what Marcus told me.
Is that the last of the hash browns?
No, there's still a whole.
Because I forgot about hash browns.
I quit cooking them because we ran out of gas.
Big fat
Yeah, you should get me some butter. Marcus, toss me some butter. Oh, this bacon grease will work. Right where I cleaned it. Do it again. There we go.
Grease that bacon.
Of course. Hey.
That's maybe one. They are liking their bigger space. They're in a somewhat smaller container downstairs with a heat lamp. We've got another batch of eggs in the incubator at the moment. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, we've got some chicks. We have 7 that survived. To make sure that this doesn't happen again with the power going off, I've got a battery pack and an inverter on standby. So if the power would happen to go off, we'll plug the incubator in, and the next batch, Lord willing, we will have a lot higher success ratio of hatching. Getting to the comments, you want to read that one, home?
Shelley Joseph, you comment, hi Marvin and Mary. Enjoyed watching your sons Jerome and Emmanuel ski. Love your smiling face, Mary, and it looks like you finally got the sourdough bread right. Marvin, you should be a little bit more appreciative of your wife's efforts. Besides, she's always has a cheerful spirit, and that's a blessing. There's probably no one that appreciates me more than Marvin. I feel very appreciated, so don't worry about that.
Melina Sori, my hubby and I were fortunate enough to go to the Kootenai Falls twice. If we ever get out there again, I would definitely stop at the Amish community instead of just driving through. Kootenai Falls is a sweet place.
Yes, if you ever come out to Libby, Montana, check out the Kootenai Falls. They've got a swinging bridge. It's a beautiful place to visit.
It is a beautiful place, and it can change so drastically from the higher water runoff to the lower in the summer. Another place that you ever get out here is the Yak Falls, just a couple of miles up the Yak River Road. That one is pretty phenomenal too. Not even close to the Kootenai, but it's still quite a falls when it comes on over. And here we have Simon.
Oh,
Enjoyed your
yes.
video, Mary. Would you mind? I wouldn't mind trying some of that bread next time I visit you. Also, I have a question: is your minivan a formal postal delivery van? I noticed the driver is sitting on the wrong side. Laugh out loud. Also, I believe it was Pam who said she enjoyed reading my book. For some odd reason, I can't find her post anymore. Probably too old school. Anyway, thanks for all who enjoy reading my book.
Thank you, Simon, for your comment.
So some of you guys might not know this. I was a postal carrier, a contract carrier for 7 years. So the minivan was after that. It is not a right-hand drive. So,
Yeah.
maybe the wrong person was sitting in the driver's seat.
I don't know.
And by the way, the 7 years that I was a postal carrier, I did not have a right-hand drive vehicle. I made myself a seat. I sat in the middle, drove with my left hand, and stuffed mailboxes with the right hand. Swiss Miss, wow, it really is winter wonderland there. We didn't get much snow here in Ohio this year, and we love the snow. Your kids had so much fun skiing, and what a fun outing. Mary, your bread is beautiful. I have yet to try making sourdough bread. I love how you and Marvin do your questions and answers. Love how you both interact with your viewers and each
Each other.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the feedback. We're kind of new to this. We're just trying to figure out what the content is that attracts most people. Boy, these guys are just being chickens. One grabs something and the other one thinks, hey, that looks better if it's gotta open your mouth up real big. You know, the cycle of life is so phenomenal. I fall off the edge of the table there. I just love watching little chicks.
I always feel that a flock of chickens makes a place always homey and inviting.
It's something that we both had growing up,
Yeah.
and just chickens running around. We have a couple of bunnies and a goat too, cat and a dog. Them running around, out pecking around, scratching, just.
I'd love to get some turkeys. Raise
Yeah,
some
turkeys
turkeys would be fun to
nice.
raise. Yeah.
I have heard we had turkeys and chickens together when we were home, and they didn't do very well. They get a thing. It was called blackhead back in that day. They grew up to about 3/4 maturity, and then they just started dying on us.
What?
The turkeys.
Oh,
Like
because they
their
were
heads.
with
There's something with.
being with the chickens. Well, we
Yeah.
could separate them.
Yeah, we could.
Definitely separate.
I might have to look into that. Why turkeys and chickens are not recommended to raise them together. Anna Bailey, hi Marvin and Mary. Another great video. So glad you got your bread to work out. I have never heard of beef bacon in the UK. I need to see if we can get it here. We have one of them diesel generators for when we go camping, and I hate the smell of it. So I've been looking on Amazon at ones you charge up and comes with solar panels. Also, in fact, Joyce and Priscilla have one. I remember on one of their videos, but I hope you get some baby chicks. You know, that's a good idea to get a battery bank. It has crossed my mind. Even if the power went out for lighting at night, if we had a small battery bank and some solar panels, we'd have some standby. Wouldn't have to fire up the generator.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
I'm going to look into that, yeah.
Yep. Terry Surratt, you commented, "Yay, Mary, your sourdough loaves were beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Blessings to all." Black Bear, you commented, "Okay, maybe you guys are the real deal." Are we the real deal?
I don't know. I've been told you fake it till you make it.
Actually laughing at my last comment, and Mary, I do feel for you looking after a house full of men/boys. No wonder God gave you so many sisters. In Jesus' name, amen. Yes, I had a lot of fun growing up with my sisters. Having sisters was a lot of fun. Yep.
Something our boys don't get to experience is sisters. I had 5 older sisters, and I was the youngest.
Yes.
I didn't have a chance. I had to walk the line or get very discreet on things that were not supposed to be done because there were.
You mean like sneaking cookies out of the cookie jar?
Oh, yeah, stuff like that. I got away with that one for quite a while. They would bake these delicious cookies. And
Your sisters.
Yeah, my sisters would bake cookies. The peanut butter and also the chocolate chip cookies were my favorite. And we had a cookie jar on the counter. And I'd be in and out of the house multiple times a day. And sometimes I'd grab a cookie or two on the way upstairs to my room. And then a cookie or two downstairs. And they just thought it was awful how many cookies I ate. That I should eat only a couple a day. And I'm 10, 12 years, 14 years old. A couple of cookies a day, if there's a couple dozen there, like, are you, that's ridiculous. And then they started hiding the cookie jar, and some of my sisters might remember this. I think Esther was the one that was baking a lot of the cookies at that time. Anyway, I was in and out of the house enough that I knew that there was a lot of cookies that were made, and there was only like this cookie jar. So I ate just a few out of the cookie jar every day, but you know what I did? I found the stash. And about the time that the cookie jar needed to be filled, the stash was empty. They were not impressed, but I got to eat the cookies anyway. That's things teenage Amish boys will do.
Well, this is the end of this this video. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, would you consider giving us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment? We love hearing from you. I hope all of you have a blessed week, and goodbye till next time.